Well, it's 1 o'clock, so I think we'll call this meeting to order. Everyone, welcome to the Zoom virtual annual meeting of the Brantford-Brant County Chamber of Commerce. So I'd like to call and introduce Town Crier David McKee to do the opening for us, please.
Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Oh, yes! My lords and my ladies of the Chamber of Commerce, Brantford-Brant, most welcome folk from the land of Zoom. In 1866, 1 year before Canada's Confederation, this esteemed body was established to unify and support trade and commerce in the fair city of Brantford. During the ensuing 153 years, its members have fought in wars, weathered nature's rage, survived epidemics and pandemics, and outlasted economic turbulence. They have created and innovated products and services and inspired subsequent generations of business leaders. Many have been immortalized in the names of streets and parks and in the annals of history. Through it all, the organization they established a century and a half ago remains their singular voice of support and encouragement. Yea, even with necessary physical separation, resourcefulness and technology have united this historic body to conduct requisite business. And so it is my happy duty to proclaim underway the Chamber of Commerce Brantford-Brant Annual General Meeting for 2020. Proclaim this 3rd day of June, 2020. God save the Queen.
Thank you very much, David. And thank you very much for doing this first virtual ever town cry. I want to welcome everybody today and thank you for taking your time to join us in this meeting. The Chamber is proud to be doing this virtual meeting and being able to pivot to today's reality. And we appreciate everyone's efforts. Voting today will be done by a visual raise of your hand on Zoom, monitored and recorded by David Prang as secretary to the board. The presenter will ask for a mover and seconder for each motion. We will place everyone on mute except for the speaker. Please indicate by hand raise on Zoom if you would like to speak. I assume everybody has that capability, and hopefully those that aren't in video can still raise their hand. Thank you very much. I'd like to recognize the members of the board of directors that are in attendance today. Cindy Swanson, Paul Basanti, Antonia Ruggiero, Chris Rayfield, Trevor Rumble, Ken McNaughton, and since I'm having trouble seeing everybody in the room, is there another board member with us?
Sandra Voss.
Sandra Voss has joined us. Okay. Thank you very much for speaking up, Sandra. I want to welcome everybody that's here and recognize the board of directors. Also, I'd like to recognize past presidents. And I know that we have Colleen Millar, Lucy Marco, Antonio Ruggiero, who's still a board member, and Rick Stern. I'm not sure if there's any other past presidents with us.
No, Steve Wood may have joined us as well.
And
Okay.
Terry Collins.
And Terry Collins as well, yes.
Terry Collins and Steve Wood. Well, again, thank you very much, past presidents, for joining us in today's meeting. We had planned on having Mayor Kevin Davis bring greetings to us. Unfortunately, at the last minute, he had to cancel due to what's going on in the city with the migrant worker outbreak. But I'm sure he would always have some kind words to give to us all. And so moving on, has David Bailey joined us here today?
Yes, he has.
He is. David, would you like to say a few words to us?
Do you need...
Please unmute.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. Anyway, it's my pleasure to bring greetings from the county. I'm sorry Kevin can't be with us today too. There's some things happening right now in the city and the county that aren't very good for us to be reporting on, but they have to be dealt with, obviously, and that's where Kevin is. So greetings on behalf of the county. It's hard to watch all of this happen in the county, all these small businesses that are in distress. And these are strange and unusual times. And all I can tell you as the mayor of the county of Brant is that we are there with anything we can do for the chamber and anything we do for small business. So if there's anything you need from the county, we do have some options for small business and retail and members of your chamber. So please, if there's anything we can do, let us know. And thank you for inviting me here today.
Thank you very much, Mayor David. Appreciate your feedback, and certainly if anybody of our members or people joining us need to communicate with our city or county, they're definitely a resourceful group and would always be able to help in any way that they possibly can. Thank you very much, Mayor David. The minutes of the meeting of March 27th, 2019, the AGM circulated, and I'd like to request a motion for approval of the minutes from the 2019 annual general meeting.
I would so move.
Do we have a seconder? That was Ken McNaughton.
I'll second.
Seconded.
Seconded by Paul Basanti. Is there any discussion or comments arising from the minutes of the meeting? Please raise your hand.
I see.
Oh, no,
Okay.
in favor, sorry.
No further discussion. I'll call in vote, and we're going to say all in favor, opposed if any, and carried. So all in favor, is that what we're doing?
Yes.
I see lots of hands going up here.
I would say it's carried, Mr. Chair.
Carried. Thank you very much, everyone. Moving on, I will now call on Steve McGagran, partner at Millar, Chartered Professional Accountants, to present the 2019 financials, which were distributed via email package last week. Steve?
You gotta unmute your microphone, Steve.
Where is he here? Hold on. I'm getting him here. There you go.
Hello?
You're good now.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. Sorry, it's my first Zoom call, believe it or not. So hopefully you can hear me and see me, and everybody's got a copy of the summarized financial statements. So I'm going to go through the summary financial statements, and then if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them. We're just going to start on the summary of the financial position, starting at the top of the page and work our way down. So cash in bank, similar to prior year. Same with GICs and short-term investments. Accounts receivable and prepaid expenses up from the previous year, mainly in accounts receivable being up, mainly due to timing issues of collections. Below that, we have the net book value of property, plant, and equipment, so the land and building and furniture. These balances increase for any additions during the year and then decrease for any amortization that's been recorded. The only real significant expense there, or not expense, but purchase, was fence and gates during the year at the back of the property. That's it for the assets. Liabilities, just one line there in the summary statements, current liabilities, mainly due to made up of deferred revenue. Of that 216,000, about 175,000 is deferred revenue. And what that is either dues or fees collected at December 31st that are for the next fiscal period, right? So that revenue gets deferred and then is recognized in 2020. That's it for liabilities. Below that is the summary statement of operations. Revenue, dues, and insurance administration, consistent with the prior year. I don't think there was a big growth in the number of members, so the amount of dues collected is similar. InTouch and directory advertising up a little bit. You see special events up quite a bit compared to the prior year. It's mainly due to in 2019, there was the Mayor's Luncheon again, which did not take place in 2018. And the Mayor's Luncheon takes a break in election years, so there was not one in the prior year. And no big changes working our way through revenue. You see a small increase in rent and recovery, and that's it just for a small increase in rent. Revenue 576,000 compared to the prior year 546,000, so a small increase during the year. Expenses, salaries, wages, and benefits, and contract employees up from the prior year, partly for an increase in wages during the year and partly for an overlap and therefore the executive director's position. Just a small couple of weeks there where there were 2 executive directors to just help with transition. Occupancy expense, mainly made of property taxes, utilities, insurance, and maintenance. Down below that, we'll see special events. That expense has gone up, and that makes sense with the Mayor's Luncheon. We've seen an increase in revenue. We'd expect to see an increase in expenses for special events as well. Conventions and staff development costs. This number is going to fluctuate year to year as conventions can be in parts of Ontario or the country, and so that line item will change from year to year. Aside from that, I don't have any other comments on the statement of financial position or the statement of operations for the Chamber of Commerce, but I do welcome any questions, so feel free.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Steve. I'm looking to get a motion for the audited financials.
Cindy Swanson, I'll make a motion to approve the audited financial statements for this year.
Thank you, Cindy. Can I have a seconder?
Sandra Voss, I will second that.
Okay, thank you, Sandra. Is there any discussion or questions for Steve?
I see none, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. If there's none, I motion to approve by raising your hand.
I would say we're carried.
Carried. Thank you very much, everyone. And thank you very much, Steve, for presenting that to us.
You're welcome. I'll exit the meeting now if that's all right with everyone.
Yes.
Thanks. Take care. Have a good day.
Thank you, Steve. I will now call for the motion for the appointment of Millards as auditors for 2020. Can I have a motion?
It's Cindy again, Cindy Swanson. I'll make the motion to appoint Millards as auditors for 2020.
Great, thank you. And a seconder?
Paul Bazzanti, I second that motion.
Thank you, Paul. Great, is there any discussion? Please raise your hand. Cindy?
Yeah.
You have the floor.
No, oh, no, I'm voting.
Ah, okay. So
I just was quick on the vote button.
yeah, fair enough. So Angela Adam. did you have a question or you voted too? David, do you see any other questions?
I think she just voted as well. No questions
Okay.
in the box or anything. So I would say we're good.
Okay, so I'll call the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand.
I would say carried.
Okay, all in favor and motion carried. Thank you very much for doing that. I guess the next one is move to motion to confirm the proceedings and actions taken by the Board of Directors of the Chamber of Commerce Brantford Brant in 2019. So basically, this motion is to approve any of the actions of the board that we've undertaken in the year 2019.
Paul Basanti, I so move that the actions taken by the Board of the Director of Chamber of Commerce Brantford Brant in 2019 be ratified.
Thank you, Paul.
Tony
Do we have a
Rizzo, I
second?
second that.
Thank you, Tony. Any discussion? Please raise your hand. I do see Trevor's hand up.
And it's down.
And it's down. Okay, fair enough. So seeing no discussion, I'll call a vote. All in favor, please raise your hand.
Say we're carried.
We're carried. Okay. Motion carried. Thank you very much, everybody. Is there any new business to discuss here or consider today? I'll open it to the floor or the screen. Hearing or seeing none, I'll consider that there is no new business. And I do want to take a moment to, I'll call upon Jay Allen of Advantage Insurance, sponsor of our first virtual AGM and our upcoming Milestone reception, to speak and say a few words. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Paul. I promised Dave that I would keep this as short as possible. So one of the things given today that we're seeing, it reminds me of something that was said to me in 2008 about learning how to hit a curveball. Learn how to hit a curveball. I had a mentor of mine when I first started in the insurance industry back in 2008 that said to me, if I ever wanted to make the Hall of Fame, you got to learn how to hit the curveball. Life can certainly get a bit overwhelming sometimes, curve after curve to knock you off your intended path. Our resolve has certainly been tested as of late. That same mentor said the goal with me was to make sure that I was prepared enough that I could be dropped into any figurative insurance jungle and survive. That was the winter of 2008. Fast forward to 2014, I've always been a bit of a geek when it comes to technology. When I was asked by an insurance company to develop and implement a pilot project for a non-face-to-face insurance application platform, I got to work on it. And in 2016, that platform was beta tested, refined, and launched. And the big three insurance companies at that point had to play catch up with it. In 2016, Celina Corner and I purchased Advantage Insurance, which has been the exclusive representative for the Chamber Group Benefit Plan for over 20 years now. Celina and I currently represent 6 different chambers, and the Chamber Group Benefits Plan is one of Canada's best providers of group benefits. At the time we purchased our practice, the insurance industry as a whole was very, very paper-based. I like to call it the big bog, basically. Celina and I spent the better part of 2016 through 18 digitizing our entire insurance practice with all documents to be stored on a secure cloud platform that we would be able to access from anywhere in the world. No more filing cabinets required. So coupled with a VoIP telephone system provided by Cosmic Communications here in town, another chamber member, we literally have the ability to get the job done from anywhere in the world. The Chamber Plan is a non-for-profit provider with over 30,000 members across Canada. Advantage Insurance being a full brokerage and representing 14 different insurance companies, I can comfortably say that the Chamber Group Benefit Plan is by far the most versatile for small businesses. It's simple, stable, and smart, and it has the most customizable group insurance plan on the market today. With it being facilitated by the Johnson Group out of Winnipeg, Dave Johnson has created a workplace that really is second to none. When you call head office in Winnipeg, there's a good chance that you're going to speak to the same person that you spoke to last time. I think his least tenured customer assistance employee is 12 years. With a new day-to-day business horizon in front of our industry, both Celina and I are in the belief that to solve any problem is to get ahead of it. So Advantage Insurance has been part of this solution for over 2 years now. So moving forward, it's business as usual for us. So on behalf of Celina and myself, Advantage Insurance is honored to be the principal sponsor of this year's AGM and Chamber Milestone recipients. The Milestone reception celebrates those members who have reached a new decade of membership with the Chamber of Commerce Brantford-Brant. The Milestone reception this year will be held on September 30th at the Best Western Hotel and Conference Center here in Brantford, in conjunction with the new member social and the Chamber Trade Show, pending, obviously, the safe environment and protocols to do so. So thanks for the time, Paul.
Thank you very much, Jay, for giving us some background and certainly your career and how you've grown and being ready for today. And I really do appreciate, we all appreciate you being the sponsor for this first AGM virtually. David, I'd like to give you the opportunity to come and speak about the Chamber's accomplishments in 2019. But first of all, I'd like to thank Tony Arugio for being our current past president. And I want to thank him for his many years of service. Tony, it's one of those things that you've kept giving and giving and giving along the way as circumstance has it, and serving for more than 1 year as a president, and actually serving for more than 1 year as past president. And your contributions to the Chamber have been certainly well appreciated by all, and I really thank you very much for being involved with this organization. Thank you very much, Tony. David, I'll pass the floor over to you now.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Yeah, 2019 was quite a different year for the Chamber, and certainly we did not anticipate the circumstances directly they were currently in. However, going through the last couple of months or so, it's essential that we do pay tribute once again to our past CEO, Charlene Nicholson, for her dedicated leadership to really build the strong foundation that we'll continue to build from through 2020 and beyond. We have a strong financial system, a strong set of reserves. We have dedicated volunteers and members that you joined us today, and as staff as well, that are key aspects of our ability to respond to the pandemic so far and to support the business community in our region. I'd also like to acknowledge with gratitude the work of Lana Lang, our business development coordinator, who after 14 years has moved on to a new leadership opportunity just as the pandemic hit. It was either really good or really bad timing, but it's created some opportunities within the Chamber, and I know that she'll do well in her new profession. 2019 saw a change in leadership with the hiring of the new CEO, a successful reaccreditation, and which is a significant accomplishment, which places your Chamber among the leaders in Canada in operations, governance, and advocacy. We launched 3 new events, sold out many others. However, 2019 seems like so long ago when viewed against the past 3 months. When I went through the list that we prepared for our strategic plan meeting at the end of November, certainly there were a lot of great accomplishments, and in a normal environment, we would be proud to have a full slideshow with photos and a sort of a list of what those it's almost 2.5 pages of accomplishments that the Chamber did that were new or unique in 2019. However, it does seem like such a long time ago. In 2020, the Chamber will continue to be the voice of business community in our region. We'll continue to build on the partnerships that really have been strengthened over the past couple of months in response to COVID-19. Proud to have the Paris Chamber at our AGM. I was proud and pleased to attend the Paris Chamber's AGM last fall, and we've been working very closely with them over the course of the last couple of months, and that was really sort of a mutually initiated. And Paul and I were pleased to join them out in Paris for a beer in just before COVID-19 hit. So we look forward to hosting the Paris Chamber again in Brantford over a beer once we're able to do so safely. I'd like to also note that Kathy, Leslie, and Ashley have been working very hard safely and remotely to support business and to reimagine our activities and events where possible, and to look forward to presenting them as the summer and fall rollout. Of significance, our Business Excellence Awards will be Thursday, August the 27th, and it'll be a hybrid format, but sort of taking the best ideas from our surrounding neighbors. Believe it or not, there was about 7 or 8 different Business Excellence Awards that were supposed to occur on May the 7th with various other chambers across the province. So as they've been reimagining their plans, we're taking in what works for us and what doesn't, and placing those together. And Ashley's been working really hard on that. Leslie as well has been creating some new ideas as far as what virtual networking will look like from a Brantford Chamber perspective, how to address and roll out a golf tournament. We're sort of proud at this point that we've got it booked. We've got a plan. The course that we've very fortunate to pick Copetown Woods as the course this year, as they've been leaders in both food service delivery as well as golfing provisions. So we look forward to sort of having those plans finalized and perhaps hosting the first post-COVID golf tournament that many of us might be fortunate enough to participate in. And that will be July 28th. So I look forward to seeing you there. And finally, I'd like to thank the board for their confidence in me as the CEO candidate and for their support over the past 3 months. These are really, as we've heard many times, unprecedented times, and our community has shown resiliency and creativity, even with the issue that our mayors will be dealing with this week. I look forward to continuing to work with our business community and to rebound and reimagine economic prosperity for Brantford Brant. So thank you for that. So we're going to go with change the script a little bit, just because it's a little bit more handy for me. And just to note, the next piece on the agenda is the President's Award. The President's Award is given on an annual basis to a volunteer that has gone a little bit further than other volunteers have, or has done it for an extraordinary length of time. The Chamber Board and staff are quite often credited for much of the success of our organization, but without the contribution of our volunteers, we could not accomplish all that we do. It's only as strong as our members and our volunteers, and you being able to participate today is testament to that. Some of our volunteers are highly visible at as many chamber events as they can get to, while others prefer to work more quietly behind the scenes, supporting committees and sometimes completing projects that might be considered thankless. And sometimes they continue to work as a volunteer long after their official role with the chamber in a leadership capacity has been completed. One key aspect of the work that we do is advocacy and the consideration of challenges in our community that also have provincial and national implications as well. Our volunteers over the years have generated policy papers that have delivered recommendations to government at all levels, and our award winner this year has been a consistent voice on a variety of issues impacting business during their time as a volunteer, which has been significant. Our 2009 president has focused on education-related issues during his time as a past president, and successfully led the development of a policy paper recommending a long-term sustainable funding approach to education that was approved by the board for consideration at the Ontario Chamber of Commerce this year. Unfortunately, that plenary session has been delayed, and we're looking forward to some direction from the OCC in terms of when that discussion might take place, or if it's postponed until 2021. So I'm pleased to acknowledge and recognize Terry Collins as the 2020 President's Award winner this year. Terry's been given, or Terry and I have been in communication in terms of his desire to hold up the the trophy for the session today, but we will do a non-contact drop off at his home with the award very shortly for the safety of everybody involved. But please be sure to congratulate Terry in person when we can be together again. But at this point, I would like to invite Terry to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much for the recognition. I joined the chamber, and I think within weeks of joining the chamber, I was invited to get on the education committee. And although I'm not a teacher, I did do a little bit of teaching a long time ago, and I believe very much in the process of education. And it is a process, and the output of that process are the human resources that we as businesses require as an input to our process. So I think I see the education committee really as a kind of a quality control function. We get an opportunity to sit with educators and to cross-examine on occasion, make recommendations and suggestions, but primarily to collect information which we can then direct towards the board, and hopefully, if there's a requirement, direct it towards the Provincial Chamber of Commerce in their annual policy resolutions, which was the case in this past year. Education is an investment. It's a policy position of the Ontario Chamber. It's not just another expense line on the annual budget of the provincial government. It's an investment. And the return on that investment is desperately needed by our business community. So we should always remember every time somebody says we're going to have bigger class sizes, which is kind of funny that that happened this year. And now suddenly we're planning on how we're going to have classes of half the size. So perhaps we couldn't accomplish through a concerted effort with the provincial government the pandemic has managed to accomplish for us, at least short term. But there's other issues, and it's very easy for government to chop a big chunk out of education. But if you take a look at what the return is on those chops, it's very negative when you go 5 to 10 years down the road and we can't find the people with the skills that we need in business. So sorry for taking so much of your collective time. As you can see, I'm passionate about education, have been for a very long time, and shall continue to be so long as I'm capable of getting up on my feet and heading over to the chamber for those bi-monthly meetings of the Education Committee. So thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Great, thank you very much, Terry, and thank you, David, for the introduction. It's people such as Terry that all contribute to our organization and our community, and it's very, very important to be recognized. Thanks again. Final comments around the chamber membership. I mean, there's lots of comments to make. We know that our membership is certainly in interesting times. Some businesses are doing well, some are struggling to survive, and it's only by being cognizant of our fellow chamber members, our fellow community people, and to be focused on the opportunities that lie ahead for everyone. And I do want to ensure that everybody recognizes that the chamber has a role to play and that we all are ambassadors for our community and our business community, and at the same time. I want to thank everybody for their time, and I know it's been an interesting meeting. It's a little bit uncomfortable for all of us, perhaps, talking to your computer. Certainly I feel that way, but I do want to thank the chamber staff. I want to thank David Prang and Ashley for pulling this all together, and I think everybody's done a wonderful job. So we're not too long on this meeting. Again, I want to also thank both mayors for their time, and the liaisons and the board of directors for their hard work and dedication to the chamber this past year. Thank you very much, everyone. Please enjoy your day, be safe and successful, and hopefully we're all outside enjoying our sunshine when it comes. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn unless there's something else.
So moved. It's Ken McNaughton.
Thank you, Ken. Seconder? Colleen Miller, I saw her hand go up, so.
Okay.
I assume everybody will carry by raising their hand. So, but everyone, I wish all the best, and stay safe, and thank you very much for joining the AGM meeting today.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Paul.